or loans. As you know, when you get a loan or you get unsecured anything, you're still using money to pay it back. You still have to use some type of currency or money or anything to pay it back. So your goal is to come out of that mindset of using, which we say, unsecured credit to pay for things. Your goal is to now use secured credit to pay for everything that you can think of. So I'll be breaking down multiple examples today of how this looks and why it's important for you to do this in order to really just operate through a revocable trust or operate privately. Because if you're private, this means you don't owe anyone. You don't need per se the public if you're private. So this is another part we'll start talking about. There's no magic documents that you fill out. There's no affidavits. None of those things are actually necessary to say that you're living. The only thing that proves that you're living based upon our studies and knowledges for over this, 6 years or plus is a living trust. And this is it's so basic that it sounds so hard, but it is that simple. It's all you need is a living trust. Because that's the only thing that proves that you're living. If you can't prove that you're living, then you have to have something that is in your hand that you can show people, hey, I have this. I have a living trust. I'm living. So we don't like to say you're using their docs. It's the documents that you create that makes you in charge. At any point that they create your documents, you're pretty much, you're not in control because they're the ones that's creating it for you. They know all the ins and outs of what you're trying to do. So it's up to you to figure out how to make sure that you're on the correct side of living. So let's go over this again because we want to make sure that people don't get confused on what we're doing and why we do it this way. So we focus on revocable trust. We don't have anything where we're going to say irrevocable, because if it's irrevocable, we already know you can't change the terms. Nothing can be changed. It clearly says it, right there. And it also shows when you get this irrevocable trust, something is no longer living. So we're going to make it plain and tell you that if it's irrevocable, then it's no longer living. And we have to say that in order for you to do any of these things that we're going to say with secured credit or taxes, banking, real estate, you have to be living. You can't at any point turn back into a corporation, which we know that is so easy and, to go back into the corporation because everything in the system is designed to advertise and bring you back in. So as you can see, our main benefits of a revocable trust is right here. You have flexibility. Yes, the assets still stay inside your name, or we say the name of the social. So keep it simple. It's nothing changing too much. It's up your mind. And I'll be talking about that today. It's your mindset. So the same social security card that we had when we were babies, our mom and dad had the social card. You're now you're the manager of that. And not only are you the manager, you're the one that's over the trust. You're the one that's managing the trust. So we use this in plain English because we want to make sure that it's not difficult to understand. I'm not going into legalese. I'm not here to break down my major terms for you and all that stuff. I've been there. No, you don't have to be age of majority in a document or an affidavit to make this work. All you need really is that living trust instrument, that same instrument that you executed that has the 2-3 witnesses, as well as the notary with the red ink thumb pad and stuff like that. So it's important for us to see these different layers that we're in and how we can manage those things as we go. Give me just one moment. All right. So as you go forward into this knowledge, you're going to use the social security card as a revocable trust. And you're also going to use a trust EIN, which is specific. And when you go grab it from the IRS, there are specific EINs that you must get. And the one that you mainly have to get on irs.gov is a revocable EIN. So that's another thing that activates you in the system as being, we'll say, private, because yes, you can use your social as the grantor while the grantor is still alive as a revocable trust, but you also need to grab the EIN so that you can use that to also maneuver around the system. Because if you use your social for everything, then they're going to run your social. Only thing we use our social for, if we're going to say we get into the system of working, is we use the banking system with the social, because they always ask you for the social security card, which is really where the money is at. And then you also can use the EIN by itself once you have opened up the sole prop. So does anybody have any questions or thoughts about the sole proprietor? Because I know it can get confusing at times of what exactly that is and how do you open it? How do you activate it? Do I have to have the bank to be a sole prop? Do I have to have this and that? And I may be able to answer those questions for you, because we have to make sure we're fully understanding what is this revocable trust and what does it mean? A revocable trust means you can change things, you can change the terms, you can update things, you can move things around, you're flexible. You know, it's still in your social, which is the estate. They say the grantor's estate. So that's what that is. Your social security card and information, the name and number is similar to what they call a grantor's estate, because you're a grantor, right? So that's what activates you. Once you have a revocable trust instrument, you're actually moved over to being a grantor. All right. It helps you with managing your affairs. It helps you move your assets to the heirs faster at death. So because all of us are going to pass away at some point in our life, and it's not meant for you to just simply sit on everything and wait to the last minute. So this is why revocable trust is important while you're living, and other people that you know that need to do the same. So this revocable is what we focus on and what everyone should do. If you have the irrevocable, it's not saying it's wrong or it's not right. It's just that you can't change those terms. So what we do is we basically place the irrevocable under our revocable, because my revocable is in control of everything. But if I have irrevocable, I need to place that under the revocable if I do that. But since we don't talk about this and teach that in detail of irrevocable, we just want to say if you already have that, you still can use it. You just have to place it under your revocable trust. Does anyone have any thoughts on this? I want to make sure we capture this, because we keep hearing this being brought up about the revocable or the irrevocable, and how they say that if it's irrevocable, it's private and all this other thing. So I just want to see if anybody else had any thoughts to that before I move forward to our next outline segment. All right, so let's go to my next diagram. This is the diagram I wanted to show. It's maybe something some of us have already seen before. If you all been on my calls, you've been seeing these same steps and goals that you all must accomplish at some point. As you can see, this is one of my goals. As I say, I'm building my credit to $1.5 million in about 2 years. So that's my goal. If I do this exact way, I'm looking to build a line of credit that is going to take care of everything, including my real estate, including my businesses, stores, whatever it is. This is how you have to think of credit. So I'm at the point where I'm already thinking that way, and I'm already moving towards that goal. As you can see, we have what they call the sole proprietor. This is the sole proprietor card that I was talking about. How do you know it's sole proprietor? Well, on the right-hand side, you see it says business. So it's not a personal debit card. So I'm saying to everyone, if you still use the personal debit card, you're not using your trust. All right, so you're not using the trust yet. Yes, you can file taxes. Yeah, you can do all the 1099-Bs and stuff, but it's not business. It's it's personal or it's individual. So they can challenge you. I always tell people, hey, if you do that and you get kickback or it doesn't go through as fast as you want it to, is because you're not on the business side yet. So I want to make sure I'm clearly showing illustrations of this because I know some people get confused over time of what exactly I need to show and what I need to have. This is where you start. If you want to get into secured credit, this is required. You can't jump around this stuff to get to secured credit eventually. So does anyone have any thoughts or questions on how the card needs to look if you have the card, or anyone may be on this call, may be able to show a testimonial or speak on this point right here if you have the card or the sole proprietor? And I yield for a moment.
I have them. I have the sole proprietor and the business and my business cards.
All right, so let's continue. So as you can see, this is important that you have the card, which we say is the physical card that you have in your hand. That's a debit card. So this debit card is what pretty much activates everything. But do you keep it on the debit? Do you keep it on the checking account? The short answer is no.
No.
So once you put it in the checking, once you deposit it into the checking, you need to move it to your savings. So you have to save yourself. And eventually it'll all make sense as you move everything to the savings. You now have the funds sitting in your savings account. Now you create those secured credit cards. So you can't do a secured credit card if you do not have a savings account. Like I say, this is the beginning right here. So once you have this card, your next goal is to place all your funds, everything that you got, into your savings. It doesn't matter if you have LLCs, you can have an LLC, you can have businesses. Your sole proprietor needs to be the one that gets paid. So that's the one that's in charge, the sole proprietor. And it's also a trust. And you need to make sure your name is on there twice. So you can see my full legal name is on here. They didn't cut it down. They didn't put the L. They didn't put, just my first and last name. If you put the name that's shown on your birth certificate, your social security card needs to be on this card too. All right. So the business is activated to collect money and to create security, which they call secured credit. Once you do this stuff, now let's jump into, I have done the step of placing all the money in the savings. And once I save myself, I'm now able to create the secured card. So this is an example of the secured card right here. So what you do is you get the secured credit card to also be used for business. So it needs to say business. If you're still at the point where you're learning about this, you can do this on the personal side at first. So I always suggest people do both. I'm not saying don't do it at all. So if you have the personal, go ahead and grab the personal secured credit card if you can. And then as you go and grab the business side also. It'll just double build your credit. But the main point is what I'm showing is that everything that you can do to build your social security credit can also be done with the business credit card. So I'm doing both. I'm actually doing double the, let me say it like this. I'm taking out two things at one time because not only am I building my credit on the business side, which generates a DUNS number, as well as generates a EIN, a business EIN, setup where they'll see my social as an EIN or a business. I'm also building my my credit score. So there's credit scores that'll be built with this card, as well as the FICO. They say the three credit bureaus, you have the FICO score. So this is important for you all if you're still thinking about credit. Credit is like your foundational thing in their system. And the other way that you can get around credit is if you all are really good at being entrepreneurs, you can make sales. So if you don't know how to make sales, or if you don't know how to generate cash flow or anything like that, then it's your best bet to jump into secured credit cards first. Because with this secured credit card, you're going to build your credit. You're still going to be able to pay your bills. You're still going to be able to live regular. You're going to still be able to get gas and buy clothes and get food, all these things, because you're using the credit card, right? If you're using the debit card to pay for that stuff, then you're not building anything. You're not building credit. You're not building yourself. So every week we have to focus on this, and I'll be breaking down more illustrations and diagrams as we go throughout the weeks, and I'll be able to show how this has worked out for me and how the same thing can work out for you. So let's go to some of our announcements that I was able to write up for us a little bit. And the announcements we have today: did you get your money straight? So you can, last week we talked about why is your money not straight? And we gave an introduction on being secure straight with the bank. And we talked about how the bank that you already have can be used, or you can create a new bank to get that credit straight. So you no longer need to get credit to be seen on the right side or the left side. You don't want to see that. So if you're on the left side, we talked about how that looks to you. If you're on the left side, all your money is on the checking account. All your money, all your cash, every time you pay for stuff is in the checking account. Right? That's the left side. That's the debit card. The right side is this credit card. Every time you pay for stuff, you're using the unsecured credit card. You're paying for yes, they gave you the card in the mail. They said you have a limit on there, but you're using the right side, which is the credit card. And once you use that credit card, you now have to pay the money back, right? So you have to pay the cash back to the credit card in order to restore the line of credit. This is the fundamentals of unsecured credit. All it is they send you the card in the mail. Once you get the card in the mail, you activate the card, you start using it. That's the unsecured way that we all have learned about pretty much our whole life almost. Some of us have learned about credit for a while, but we never, got a chance to move into it or do things. So this is an example of what it looks like or how it looks in two sides. So you got the left and the right. The straight way, as I'm speaking of today, the straight way is the secured credit card. That's the straight path, because you're going straight to the bank. And not only you're going straight to the bank, you're also creating all of these funds through the bank. Not only is the bank is now your partner. So you're building credit with a partner. Yes, you have your everything that you can think of: bills, your debts, your expenses, maybe emergency, maybe gas, um, which they say you may have to pay for tuition, you may have to pay for mortgage, which we're going to get into later. I'll be talking about how even if it all the way got down to you paying your mortgage, right? You're still supposed to use secured credit cards. You're not just supposed to just use the debit card, right, and just pay your mortgage off. You're not just supposed to use a check, right? We say the check is coming out of what? The checking account. Your best bet is to write a check from the savings if you can. If there's certain type of accounts that allows you to write the savings account, that'll probably be your other workaround, but we don't suggest you do that because the goal is for you to build that secured credit. So yes, it's required. It's a requirement. The longer you don't have this, the longer it doesn't make sense to you. Now, the question is, why doesn't the bank teach you this? Why is it when you go in the bank doesn't just simply say, hey, we have offered you a secured credit card, right? All right, so let's go into that. And I'm going to see some questions came in. And some of us are trying to beat around the bush because we're getting into the sovereign information about how all of a sudden now you can just skip past all this stuff, right? And just get the money. I'm showing you, even if you get the money or the checks or anything, I'm going to show you today how you're supposed to convert the money, convert the checks, everything that you have into secured credit. So I had a question on the board. It says some banks offer business accounts but do not have business secured credit cards. Are these different accounts? The short answer is yes, they are. So the business bank account has to have a savings account connected to it. So you can't have the checking account without the savings. You gotta have both. So you got the checking account and the savings account. Once your money goes into your bank account, every time you put your money in the bank, it needs to go to the savings. It does not need to sit in the checking account. It needs to go to your savings. And then when you need to pay a bill, let's say you don't have the secured credit card yet, you can move it. And I'm going to say, this is going to be our workaround, but I don't want to teach you this because people may get lazy and just do this all the time. But the goal is eventually to keep the money in the savings and get the secured credit card once you do that. Let's say you don't have that yet. You can use the post office money order, which I'll go and pull up that diagram again just to kind of show us a recap of what that means. So post office money order. You see post office, it's the USPS. So has anybody ever heard of actual, they'll say money? You know, we say you're paying money. Has anybody ever knew that you're actually paying money when you go to the USPS? Let me show you on the screen where it shows that you're paying money. When you're paying with dollars and bills and things of that sort, it's not necessarily paying with money. You're paying with something called a Federal Reserve note. So your goal is to get out of the Federal Reserve notes and to get into the secured credit as well as the post office money orders. Something called, all right, so the post office money orders right here. See if I can pull it up. Here we go, money orders. All right, so you click on money orders. You see it right here. It says when sending money, look at this, money. They never say it's money when you're using but they say the Federal Reserve notes or the cash or the dollar bill. Let me go and pull up a dollar bill for y'all to prove to y'all that this is not money. And really, you all could have been doing this the entire time. You could have been using the cash. You went to the post office and you got the post office money order. So let me show you what this looks like. It's BEP. Keep going to these same places to keep showing you all where this is coming from. So all your money is coming from here. All of your money, all of the money that you all are calling money, the $100 bill, the $10 bill, and so on. This is all coming from the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. So all this is printed. This is printed. This is currency, but it's not money. All right. I know that we can't accept this because your whole life, our moms and dads, our uncles, aunties, friends, people we know, told you to go get some money. And every time they told you to get money, they always said, this is it right here. This is the money. But as we grow into this, as you get into the trust, you learn that the money is really the credit. But you're going to say that the credit that you get is able to get the true money. So this will be the money that's backed by gold and silver. So some people say, well, how do you get the money backed by gold and silver? Well, you grab the post office money orders and they are guaranteed no matter what. If you go into looking, ask the post office people, at any time during the government having any issue, you will always be able to use the post office money. You can always cash it out as well. So let's look at some of the order fees that they charge you in order to use the post office money order. And it shows that if you're going to do anywhere between 1 cent to $500, the fee is $2.55. So you're going to pay $2.55 in cash in order to get that post office money. If you got over $500 up to $1,000, it's $3.60. So you'll be able to use the $3.60 to create a security of at least, or at most, I say $1,000. So anybody here didn't know this, didn't know that you can pay your bills or pay for things with money, or they say money orders. If you didn't know, now I'm going to show you, this is a very important key right here. So let's say you don't have the secured credit card. What you can do in the meantime, you can use the debit card, right? Use the debit card And when you use that debit card, right here, you can use that debit card to purchase the post office money order. All right, you guys got to get out of using this bank so much because all the bank is going to do, they're just going to claim your cash. They're just going to claim the money because we don't usually file our taxes the way we should file our taxes all the time. Right, so our taxes are very important. And when we deal with taxes, taxes is like inescapable. So you can't get around taxes. So if I were to look at my books and like say I paid my bills, I don't have it secured, I would be able to prove that I used the post office money order, where then I can claim the funds back because I have the money order slip. But if I don't have those money order slips, all I'm left with is the bank statements. Right. So if you're stuck with just only bank statements and it's on the checking account, then you have to prove that it wasn't sitting just on the debit or the checking account the entire time. Does this confuse anybody? I want to make sure I didn't lose anybody. Does this make sense to you? Any clarity questions so far based upon the debit card usage? Does this confuse anybody? I want to make sure I didn't lose anybody. Does this make sense to you? Any clarity questions so far based upon the debit card usage? Does this confuse anybody? I want to make sure I didn't lose anybody. Does this make sense? Seems like it's double speaking, so I just want to make sure that went out. Does this confuse lose anybody? Does this make sense? Seems like it's going in a circle. Can you all make sure you can still hear me? I want to make sure it wasn't saying. All right. Because I heard it talking twice. Okay. So now that you have the debit card is something that you're coming out of. You're coming out of the debit because the debit is keeping us trapped. Every day that you have the debit card is trapping you. There's no way to win if you have the debit, right? It's a debit. All it does is debit. It keeps you on the side where it takes away. It takes away everything. It keeps you on the left side, right? Every time you debit the account, it says is negating it, right? So you end up on the left side. So that's why I say this. This is the left side. So in order to get out of that left side, another workaround that you all can do for now, let's say you don't have the credit card tomorrow. What you can do is use the debit card to purchase a post office money order. That's what you can do. So it does a little bit more work because you got to go to the post office, you got to get the money order, and you got to go give it to the people who you have to pay the bill to. So I usually say use these post office money orders. It does for the what they like to say the bills, like for instance your utility bill. Use the post office money order for the utility bill. Most of the time, the utility company always takes cash. They're always taking cash, right? So this is important of locations that we're going to break down today. You can also use, because I say this is up to $1,000, right? So think of every bill that you have that's under $1,000. So then I can use the post office money order to pay for that. And I'm keeping it secure because I have paid the $3.60 to make sure that I'm using lawful money, because that's all money orders is. Money orders just allows you to use lawful money. All right. Very important that you all understand and grasp this. They don't have it here for no reason. Like, why is it that every United States post office allows you to get access to money orders? And then ask ourselves this question: when is the last time you've got a money order? I mean, do we use our bank all the time, or do we use the post office? Because if I walked into the post office, I can have cash in my hand and I can do this. And there is no bank. All right. All right. Okay. So that's our foundation to the whole point of
Hey Wallace.
moving over. Yes, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yes, the example you just gave, according to the savings account before you actually obtain the secured credit card, the purpose of using the money orders is for tax purposes to substantiate the claim according to the funds that was spent? I'm trying to grasp that concept.
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. So the concept is to make it where you don't need the bank, right? So the bank needs you, not the other way, right? Because if I have post office money orders, I'm not depending on the bank statements, am I? Right? It's because, every time I have a post office money order, I have actual evidence of the post office money order. Every time I use my debit card, the bank has evidence that they're going to file taxes for whatever money that was in their bank. So that's what I'm saying. Your goal is to convert the bank account into a revocable account, which is can be changed. So I'm changing the way I'm using the account by using the debit card to get a money order. So like I say, that's the easy way out. I don't want you all to focus on the post office money order. I want you really to focus on the savings account. Focus on a secured credit card. That's your foundation right now to your revocable trust and sole proprietor. So I hope that answers the question because you're substantiating how you can live without the banking system if you do this. Give me another example. Let's say anybody have any hard examples of what doesn't work for you? I want to see if anybody have what cannot work with this method we're just talking about right now with the post office.
I don't know anything that don't work. Everything that I deal with according to bills, always money orders are always accepted by mail. So I don't know of anything that wouldn't work.
Correct. There's nothing that does not work with the post office money order in this United States. Is really what I'm trying to prove. So the question is, why is everyone using the bank, you know, as you're using their bank statements in order to prove that you had money in their bank? Why not say that you actually had a post office money order in your hand that you got and you paid for the bill? Like I say, the other route is the secured credit card. Now you can prove beyond reasonable doubt that you have secured the cash because you have a secured credit card. So those are your only ways out. That's your straight way. Your straight way out is the money order and the secured credit card. Those are the straight ways. And keep your money straight. So I hope that adds up to where we are so far and just substantiating the money being right. Or to say, did you get your money straight? This is how you get your money straight. Okay, let's go into some of our announcements. And it reads in some of our announcements, it says, now that you have your monthly number, you will be and feel secured. Remember, seek to pay 2 times or 3 times the amount forward or ahead. That's your point. So the reason you have your monthly number that we talked about last week, what is that monthly number? I don't know how much you need to pay every month, but you need to know that number. You don't need to worry about paying off the whole year, just pay off the whole month. So some of us may need $2,000. Some of us may need 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I don't know. But that'll be your limit that you want to start off with as a secured, to make you feel secured. Right? So you have to remember to seek to pay 2 times or 3 times the amount forward or ahead because you don't want to be behind. You want to be ahead, right? You don't want to be in the back. You want to be in the front. That's the way this looks. So you're going to pay 2 times or 3 times the amount forward or ahead. All right? You pay it forward, right? So it's no reason you should ever have cash just sitting inside. The reason I'm saying this is because none of y'all should ever have cash just sitting inside the checking account, just looking at the cash. Like it's not supposed to sit there. Guess who's using that money every time y'all have it sit on that bank account? Who do you think is using your money? I'll give you all a wild guess to go ahead and answer those questions.
The bank.
Bingo. Why? Because the bank don't got no money, do they? I know that sounds crazy though. People who anybody have any rebuttals to that? Do you all think the bank have money?
No.
All right, let's be honest with ourselves. Because everybody, there's millions of people out here. Every time we trying to go grab a loan or to get help, where do we go first? Where do people go? They go to the bank.
Yeah, I've noticed like I remember one time I had a Bank of America account and when I requested money, they had to order it.
Mm,
So that told me that they don't have money. They have to wait until you ask for it.
there you go. It's money, like you just said, money. Because if you're using Federal Reserve notes, I just showed y'all the web page. Let me show y'all again where they order your money at. Because you can do the same thing. There's nothing stopping you or I or me or any of us from doing the same thing the bank is doing. 'Cause all the bank is doing, they're just ordering your money. You know, they're gonna cut it for you too. They got a machine back there. They'll cut the machine. They got an ATM. So all y'all paying for is their services. You're paying them so that you can use their service. Does this add up? So right here, y'all can go right here and shop for the money. Right here. Right now.
We need to cut off the middleman.
Mm-hmm. This is the government. This is the United States government. I'm going to show you this is an official website of the United States government of how you can get your money printed. So you can print your money and you can cut your money right here. So all the bank is doing when you all call for the money, they already got a good relationship with the Treasury. So they always got stuff shipping in. They always got them trucks coming in with the funds. But this is how they do it. It's not a mystery. You know, so there is no secret accounts or none of this. They just create the currency for you right here. And they make it turn into money. Even though it's not money, they're able to use a fancy word for y'all and call it currency. They don't even call it money. They call it currency. And then the Federal Reserve System takes over because they're the ones that came in and gave the funds or these currencies to the Treasury. And the Treasury was able to accept it. The Treasury's like, okay, that's great. You all just have to follow our rules and we will allow you to use those notes. So does anybody have any understanding of this? Want to make sure we covered the basis of why you're coming out of the Federal Reserve System, coming out of the banking system. And this is your first step to come out of the bank because we're all in this banking system right here. I just showed you. That's why we say we don't have no money because the bank is taking it. So this is going to gain money. The more you all do this, the more you think of this, you will feel more secure. You will gain the money. Right. So this post office money order is foundational to you if you don't have the secure credit card, at least for now. All right, let's go into our next segment. Anybody have any thoughts or questions? Give me just one moment. I have to take it. Give me just 15 seconds. All right, so we're back. And so let's jump into our announcements of what some of the key topics and points we wanted to get through today. Okay, so our last part we left off was remember to seek to pay 2 times or 3 times the amount forward or ahead. So you want to pay your bills forward. Like if you got money sitting there, just go ahead and pay the bill for the next month. Don't just the money sit there because it will be the bank will claim it. The bank is able to claim anything that sits in their account. Why can't they? Let's just really think about that for a second. They lied to us. They told you to have money sitting in the bank. And it's the opposite. This allows you to be ahead of your money instead of behind your money. So you're going to be ahead of the money because you have everything organized. You have all your bills that you need to pay for the month ready to go. Right? So this is a renewed mindset, not a physical material. So you're able to renew your mind as you do this because your mind is not renewed until you come out of the bank. As you know, the bank is taking all of your time, taking all your energy, messing up your attitude, your mind. We got attitudes, we got problems with the bank. We don't have no money and so on, right? The bank overdrafts you, all types of things the bank does. So this is going to help you learn how to make the bank work for you, and the bank becomes your partner, right? You don't want to be under the bank, you want to be over the bank. So this is a renewed mindset, not a physical material. The physical is what we say, the actual, we'll say the credit card. The physical of the banking system that you can control will be your secured credit card. Everything else, the bank gives you, the bank takes away. So if the bank gives you the house, guess what happens? The bank can take the house. The bank gives you the car, guess what happens? The bank takes the car. The bank gives you the business, guess what happens? The bank can also say your business can go bankrupt. Is this adding up to anyone? All right, so let's go to some of our comments. Somebody said there are some companies that do not allow you to use a credit card, like a mortgage company. All right, so our workaround for that credit card is a
Money
money order,
order.
right? There you
Also,
go. All right, thank you for that. So, does anybody have any, what did he say, examples of this? Have you all been able to do this? Can you go into that a little bit for us, Jackies?
well, I've done it a few times, and I didn't really see nothing going on as far as like I could just get them at the end of the year as far as taxes. But I've done to where I got my work check in a paper form. And I wrote on the back of it, deposit is lawful money, 12 USC 411 and such. It shows up on the statement and all that sort of thing. But I was sitting here thinking, like you say, the money order is lawful money. So it's like that's the only way you really gonna be using lawful money and is with a money order. Cause it's like it's tax free, wouldn't it be? Lawful money. They only tax in the use of the Federal Reserve note. But when you get that money order, that's real money. So you might have to
Right.
get if the limit is 500 or 1,000, you might have to get a bunch of them. If your payment is, say 3 or 4 thousand, you have to get a bunch of money orders and you will have lawful money.
Correct. That's a very important point you made. Having multiple money orders allows you to have lawful money. So if you have $3,000, right? How many money orders do I need to commit that three? I mean, to commit to that $3,000.
I've seen some places make it be 1,000, some places make it be 500 as far as the max. I went and it was 1,000, so I needed, maybe a money order for 1,000 and then another money order for $347. The payment was, 1,347.
There you go. So you end up paying for two money orders. You get one money order for the max, then you get another money order for
The
the
difference.
there you go. So that is an example of what you just walked us through of how you can pay the mortgage. That's a good example, right? So they don't take the credit card. Some mortgages do take the credit card. Depends if you're paying online. But the way you're explaining it, what would you do with that money order once you got the money order? Would you mail it to them? How would you do that?
I would mail it to them. Keep my receipt, make a copy. I got a printer and mail it to them.
Thank you. So by mailing it to them, this makes it a lot easier for you to communicate to them that you're making your payments. So when you get the money order, let's go over this again. Let's step back. Are you getting the money order using are you using cash or are you using the debit card? How are you able to get the money
A
order?
few, a few times I use cash. And then you did a video and said you could use the sole prop debit card to buy the money order. So I did it that way also. So I've done it both ways.
Correct. Precisely. So the way you did it was more of a precise.
Convenience.
Yes, exactly.
The debit
Precise
card is
convenience.
more convenient than going to get the cash. And after I get the cash, because that's a separate place, make another trip to get cash, then go to the post office rather than I could just appear at the post office and use that sole prop debit card.
Exactly.
We leave nothing in the debit account. We only pay out of there. We leave all money in the savings. And we try to pay up, like you said, 3 times if we can.
That's right. That'll be the eventual goal. You can do two times, but if you can do three times, that's even better.
Yeah, that three is coming up. I was thinking about when you got the witnesses on that trust, you know, wherever you bear witness. And when you go to court, that witness testimony is like one of the most powerful things. I remember they said so many people witnessed Jesus' resurrection. So you got them witnesses on there. That's like proving you alive also.
Hmm. That's right. I mean, you're the living. You're supposed to have a living trust to operate and to use the banking system. Yeah. So I know it sounds, I guess, sounds like it's different, but it's not. We're doing the same things. The only thing you just fundamentally told me is that you walked into the post office. Sometimes you had cash in your hand, and sometimes you went in with the debit card, which is probably a lot faster. So I used the debit card, slide it at the desk or the post office counter. The post office person go ahead and tells me how much it costs, and then I get the money order in my hand. Right? I can actually mail the money order out right there to the billers. I can mail it to the billers right there at the post office, or I can walk out of the post office with the post office money order and take it over to the biller. This is coming out of the bank, you all. It's easy, it's convenient. Yeah, the bank got a debit card for you to just go slide the card and just go pay your bills. Yeah, it's easy. But I mean, who's getting credit now? Is the bank getting credit or are you getting credit? Anybody want to answer those questions? Like, how does it look? How do you feel that you can substantiate getting that money back? Um, by just using anybody can substantiate getting the money back using just the debit card. How would you feel? How would you be able to substantiate that? Anybody want to try it? Shoot at that.
Wallace, I don't know about that, but my question was outside of the bills aspect. If I was using just money orders until I got the secured card, what I'm gonna do about groceries and gas?
Well, I know when I use my security card, I use it at the grocery store too.
No, no. I'm saying I don't have it yet, but I'm listening to the money order approach to how to come out paying my bills via money orders, right? Not using my debit card. So if I'm purchasing food and gas, I'm still kind of stuck,
I would get the sole prop. Once you get the
right?
sole prop checking, you gonna treat that just like your debit card. The debit card you got right now, you using it every day as a individual, as a person that's taxed heavily. You
Mm-hmm.
gonna get the same type of debit card, and it's gonna have your same name on there, but it's gonna say business. And you're gonna
Okay.
use it just like you use every day. You are the business. Your
Okay.
business, you have to buy groceries in your business.
That's
Mm-hmm.
You
right.
support family, because I think they got that on the tax form. Household such such,
Household
how many
household
meals
personal
is
use. Okay.
prepared daily.
Okay.
That's why they asking you that type of stuff. Because like he said, whatever this institution is, after you fill out that paper, they just contacting the treasury on your behalf and telling them to print the money up.
Okay.
That's, oh man, that's incredible. I want to
Yeah,
get
that's
to
all
that
they're doing.
point.
And that's real because really you're authorizing them, right? That's why I went into power of attorney talking about that. We're authorizing
Right.
them to get the money.
That application gave them authorization.
All right, we got another hand raised. Raymond, I see your hand. So go ahead.
I was trying to ask specifically um, if I can, why is the money staying in the savings um, specifically over? I heard all the reasons why not put it in checking, but why? What's the difference in the savings plan?
Yeah, so you're asking what's the difference of why it should be in the savings? Well, the reason why it should be in the savings because you can't even create a secured credit card if the money's not sitting in the savings account. That's number one. The second reason, the savings account allows you to save yourself because if something happens where somebody's trying to grab money out your account, they usually can't take the money out your savings most of the time. So that's the real reason why you want to keep your funds in savings because no one can grab it. And, like if it's sitting on a debit card, can't they just simply just pay the bill without your authorization, auto pay, whatever that is? So that's one reason I like to
Yeah.
say, you
And you
know,
end up in the negative.
that's right. You know, or if you got overdraft turned on, turn that overdraft thing off. You don't want to have overdraft because if
You
you
right.
overdraft, they're going to have negative. You're going to go negative, right? And sometimes the bank is slick. They'll turn it back on after a while. They'll turn it back on. You got to make sure that none of your accounts are negative. That's the whole point. We should be at zero in the checking account or maybe a dollar, maybe no more than $10 in the checking account. Everything else should be all in that savings account. My entire bills I pay the whole month needs to be in that savings account. It's an easy method. I just gave y'all a lot today. Just simply every dollar, every cent that you get, don't leave it on checking. Move it to the savings. And you got to have the business account. Like Baz just told us, if you don't have the business, how are you substantiating the money? Is it in business or is it personal? So let's say you don't have a bank. Somebody may ask this question. I don't have a bank, but I need to substantiate on doing business. And you got to write receipts, just like they do. When they write a receipt to you, you write a receipt also who you paid. That's another way y'all can do it. The old method, the old fashioned method, where you go get the receipt book from Office Depot or what's the other place they got? Office Mats, all those places. This will allow you to write out receipts. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot of work, a lot of practice, but Practice makes perfect, they say.
It might not be a lot of work too. It might be just business. A lot of things we doing every day, but we not treating it as business.
Mhm.
So you shifting your mind to think that you are the business. The sole prop is you.
Exactly. And when you say the sole prop, we're going to make it plain, to say that the social security card is the sole prop and the revocable trust. So when you have your social security card, you want to be the revocable trust and the sole proprietor at the same time with that social. Let me give y'all an example how this looks. It says now you are the banker. So you're going to become a banker, and a broker. Now, of course, you're going to need a license to be a broker. They make you get, if you're going to be doing securities exchange and all that stuff, the SEC, all that QSIP stuff. There's no way you can be doing QSIP information at all without having a license. It's impossible. But we're going to say just stay as being the bank and the banker, at least for now. You're already brokering because you're using cash. But this is how it'll look in physical reality. Let's say you were ever to look at this physically, all your cash, your payments, your premiums, which I'll go into our next segment of the announcements. Let's see right here. All right, so it says a line of credit is very efficient to use for any bill, expense, debt, or emergency. So your goal is to create a line of credit over time. So what you're going to do to create the line of credit, you're going to use your treasury checks. You're going to use treasury deposits. You're going to use social security deposits. You're going to use insurance deposits and money given to pay your bills from friends and family. So everything you got coming in needs to be secured. It needs to go to what I'm showing you on the screen, the money pool right here. And then a money pool turns into a secured credit card or a secured bank. And then that money pool does what it does right here. You create your own loan for your mortgage. You create your own credit cards. Like I just showed you. I just showed you all I created my own credit card. It has my name on it. And also you create your own loan for cars. All right. So you're creating this credit in all three layers: the mortgages, the credit cards, and the cars.
Hey, I was thinking, like she was saying, they be funny on mortgages, and I think maybe some car payments on paying the credit. You know,
Mm-hmm. Because
I don't know.
they want that checking account and routing number, don't they?
All right.
Most of the time, that's what they want: the checking and the routing. Is there any other method that y'all have that you can pay? You can probably use a savings account with the car or the mortgage, right?
Yeah, yeah, you could use a savings account. They
So
got it up. They got it up there when you get ready to make your payment. It's only
Mm-hmm.
check or savings account. I don't. I think it's no debit card payment and no. What's the other one? Credit card payment.
I got a question. According to the example you giving right here, Wallace, so the money pool is the total amount in the savings that you saying secure for all your bills. So if the example you gave, your bills was 500, well, 5,000, according to the mortgage or rent or credit card payments and car note, all the bills. That would be the money pool. And then the secure, that's the amount you would secure to come in and go out to all those bills. Am I
Mm-hmm.
understanding correctly?
That is correct. So that money pool is a secured money pool. And even if I'll give you an example, even if I had the money on a secured card, I can transfer it off of the secured card into another account. I've done it before where even if it's $1,000, you can take the $1,000 off the secured card that day and you can move it into a regular account like Baz just said, and I can get the money order. So it's still the secured
And
card can still pay for it.
and I want to add this too. If you got the money in the bank or the institution in the savings account, it's kind of being in there like cash. It's kind of still a Federal Reserve note.
Mm-hmm.
So when you turn it into that secure credit, it's not taxable then. It's different. So you basically kind of want to get all your Federal Reserve notes and turn them into credit. That's
Correct.
the main idea. You'll have some money in the savings and the money pool, but like if you got millions of dollars, you can't put millions of dollars in a regular bank account. I don't even think the bank gonna let you do that. You know, they gonna give you a different account.
That's right. It's always going to be. So let me give y'all how it looks with the bank. So this number leads you to the Fed bank your money was withdrew from when you authorized the bank or corporation to give you cash. Those numbers are not there for entertainment. All of the money came from your Federal Reserve bank account. Now they have those theories on the sovereign understanding that you can access your master account and all this stuff. Well, you can't because the bank is in charge of your master account. Okay, so when you authorize the bank to get the money, they are getting the money for you. That's why they have those numbers on the Federal Reserve notes right here. Has anybody ever seen that? When you look at the Federal Reserve notes, it also has the bank it came from. So that goes into more details of where the money's coming from. It's coming from the letter in the back of your social card. Has anybody ever seen the letter in the back of your social card?
The red numbers with the J with the number with a letter and then the numbers.
There you go.
So before you go ahead, Wallace, so I just want a question. So when you gave us the example for the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, are you saying, am I understand you saying we could do this or the bank has to do it on our behalf if we set up correctly?
No, the bank is going to do it because you asked them. So you can do this without the bank. You can order that money right off the treasury,
But then
right?
where would I get it? Like, uh, do I need an institution to deposit the funds? How I ain't quite grasping that concept. So you saying I need 100,000 or $10,000, and you saying I can order it myself, right?
Correct. You can,
And
you
the
know.
Brinks truck gonna pull up at the house?
Well, you got to pay for them. You see what I'm saying? See, they got a service fee for that Brinks truck and the Loomis truck and all that money. You know what I'm saying? Businesses do this
They
all
gonna
the
send
time.
you a check.
Okay, the treasury check. Okay.
Yeah.
Bass, I got you. I
So
got
then
you
look,
now.
when you get the treasury check, right? Right then at that moment, ain't no taxable event occurred. If you put that in a bank account, in your debit account, a taxable event gonna occur. If you take it like he's saying and put it in the secure credit account, it's different money. It's yours now. It's different. The government can't mess with it.
Hmm.
Then you take that out, like he say, you take out only 1,000. You got 500,000, but you don't want 500,000 in an account. It's in that secure account. So you peel out how much you need to pay your bills, like that little thing he showed the diagram, and then what you got coming in, if that's a check, Social Security, a disability, that's that left arrow going into the money pool. Soon as you get your Social Security check or your work check, you're supposed to turn it into the credit account.
Exactly.
Like he's saying, if you get up to like a million or 500,000, so now eventually we paying off the bills for the whole year.
hmm Eventually, that's the goal. If you can do times 12, then that's the master level. You paying the bill off the whole year, the rent being paid the whole year, the utilities being paid the whole year, the mortgage getting paid what? The whole year. That's times 12 level. Like
Then we're gonna
everyone,
file our taxes and do it again.
there you go. Because you can do it the correct way. You're not just throwing the money in the bank, right? Trying to battle the bank because the bank is trying to file the 1099s as well, right? Isn't the bank filing 1099s?
Yeah, but I see the work they doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you made the statement, oh, seems like a lot of work. Yeah, but it's some money involved. If you don't want to do the work, then the bank will do it for you
There you go.
and get
Oh,
your beneficial interest.
there you go. Oh, we had Shani had a hand. What was the see a hand raised? Go ahead. And see you posted in the chat.
Yeah, I had a question like far as like the post office, don't they have like accounts, business accounts that can you like deposit it in there and just get your money orders through that way?
It's possible. They may have some way that you can do it, but I don't see it online where I can just log online and get it. Most of the time, the post office clerk, they have them there, but they got to put them through that printer system. Then they print everything and it activates the money order. So I think most of the time it's in person when you walk into the post office.
Okay.
At least that's what. But you gave a good example answer. Somebody asked, okay, if I got the money from the Treasury, let's say it was cash, I got the Federal Reserve notes, right? Where do I take those Federal Reserve notes? Anybody want to shoot at that question or that answer?
You could go buy some silver, some gold.
Mm-hmm.
You get some money orders.
There you go. There you go. So that's the first step. So we've been taught to take the money to the bank, right? So that's the part that we miss is that we're taking the money to the bank first, when in reality we're not supposed to take the money to the bank first. All right. We
We're
got your
supposed to build
background
our
on
bank.
exactly. You're going to build your bank. You're building yourself up because you are the bank, right? You're the grantor. I went over so many screens to show you all how much power you have. You are the grantor. So as a grantor, you are the banker. That's what a grantor is. A grantor is the banker, the sole proprietor. All right. Any questions on this part? Because you got to get the fundamentals so that all this right here works. Because, every month, this is going to happen. You got to have the funds ready to go to pay out every month. You're already paying the money, first off. Some of y'all are paying your rent right now. You're paying utilities. You're paying for gas. You're giving out money to family members, all this stuff. Even the money given to family can be on secured credit card. You just transfer off a secured card and give it to the fam. All right, so now you are the banker. And as we said, this number leads you to the Fed bank. Your money was withdrew. So those numbers on those Federal Reserve notes came from your bank account. And then I went into our other diagram as I close us out for this week soon. And I wanted to make sure you all saw that part with the back of the social card, because those letters on those monies are specific. All right. So the question we have on the board is, it says, when you go to the post office, don't they want to know who make the money order to? No. Post office doesn't care about that. The post office just gives it to you blank, and you can write it out to whomever you choose. But they don't write anything on there. They don't even ask questions. They just you give them the cash, or you pay for it with the debit card, and they give you the money, per se, right? It's the money. Money is different than cash, Federal Reserve notes, debit cards. That's the banking system, right? But the post office is money. That's why they say it that way. So last thing right here says, so how can you just obtain money orders? You obtain them because you're converting right? We're converting ourselves to money because they have converted our money that we put inside the bank, and they print out the cash, right? Don't they give you printed cash when you get the ATM? And that printed cash on the ATM is going to have a letter on there. So, for instance, the letter F may be on some of those dollars. The letter F may be on all types of other bills, but they have two systems. They got the Federal Reserve Bank, then they got the Federal Reserve System, which is all under the same thing. So the Federal Reserve Bank has a private side and a public side. But I'm not going to go into that. That's the deep layer of today. But I just wanted to prove you all where this is all coming from. The Social Security Office agrees to it because they allow you to take your Social Security card to the bank, and they allow the bank to get authorization to go ahead and send money through that Social Security number. All right, so let's look right here. It says, for any other Social Security business information, contact your local Social Security office. You know, they making sure they put business on the back, because I ain't even noticed that. They put business back there. All right, so I hope that answers our questions of where is this money coming from? How is it happening? What does it do? This is where it's coming from. If we give them the money, the cash, right, then they're going to give us real money. That's why people putting on their real money monetized. How can you have real money monetized if you don't have money? I mean, you can say the bank has real money, but you have to get real money. All right. So this is the fundamentals. We just want to show you where it all starts and where it come from. I'm going through government websites on purpose to make sure you all can see that the government is doing this, and they're going to confuse you because they really don't want you to understand it, because the bank wants to take over and do most of the work for you. That's why it's difficult to understand. Everywhere you go to the bank, you ask questions. They act like they're confused. They don't know what you're talking about. They're going to ask you for your Social Security number, and then they're going to run your credit and see if they can get you an unsecured credit card. I know I'm not lying, because this is the only thing I've ever seen banks do. They never care about giving you a secured card, do they? Why don't they? That should be our first question when you go to the bank. Where's your secured credit cards? So let's close it out home for this week and go into the last, we only got about maybe 10, 15 minutes left. And I wanted to just go into this last part for the meat of the discussion and why it's important for you all to see the secured credit card as being your way out. It's the straight way out. And we'll be going through this a lot more as we can, because money is one of our most difficult subjects. Tomorrow, you have the opportunity to convert your money. Go to the bank that you already got. Convert it. Turn it into a savings account if you have to. You probably can do it right now while we're on the phone. You can deposit or you can transfer all the money into your savings account. All right. So the savings is what allows you to save yourself. Right. So when you save yourself, you're able to move into the security. That's what it breaks down to. So the word security means the same thing as secured. So let's go to that real quick. I want to show you what the secured credit cards look like when you go to the banking system. So let's go back to Bank of America. Went through that diagram last week to show you where Bank of America goes through the process of getting a secured card. It's not as easy to find though, so you got to kind of search around on their site. And it is a maze on purpose. It's designed to make it difficult so that you just give up and just go through the bank, and then they do everything for you, right? So now they're ahead and you're behind. So we don't want to be behind. We want to be ahead. So as you can see, I went over this last week. There's two sides. There's the personal. It's the personal right here. And the other one is the business. It's almost like when you click on the personal, you can't even get back to the business almost. But this is where it is right here. This is the personal side. So we're saying this is what you want to come out of. You want to come out of the personal side. You want to come out of the banking system this way and move yourself into the business. When I say come out of the bank, I'm saying come out of the bank the way you are doing it right now. That's what it is. You're in the bank right now as a personal account. You want to come out and get into the business account right here. And there are requirements in order for you to do this, because they're going to ask you for some business license. They're going to ask you for your social. They're going to ask you, are you doing business? And you have to say yes. I got people who have revocable trust that don't think they're doing business. And I already explained in the beginning, once you get a revocable trust, there's no way around it. You are doing business. That's the way the system works. The IRS says that you are doing business. So this is where I got all the information from. Of course, it's not going to be easy to find. They say growing your business and stuff like that. It may or may not pop up right here, but I don't know for sure. But I had literally had to type in secured credit card. So let me see if I have to do it up here. Okay, so I did right here. You can do small businesses. This is where you want to start at, small business, because you're sole proprietor. Your revocable trust is a small business. As we see, they got the checking and savings right here. You want to go ahead and grab this business savings right here. Without you saving yourself through the business savings, you're not even able to open the secured credit card. The reason I'm saying business, because I want you all to have the business accounts. Stop staying on the personal side, building FICO scores. This builds your FICO score and builds a DUNS number score as well. So you get both when you do it this way. As you can see, you can open up a gold, platinum, and so on.
While it's on the screen that you got to before this one, I seen cash secured credit. Before you hit this one, I seen it. I see it to your right, features.
Okay, it just skipped out of that screen real quick. Let me go back up. This over
See
here.
to your right, unsecured lines of credit, cash secured lines of credit
Yeah, here
right
we
there.
go. Yeah, you're right. It's right there. It's right there. And look, they got the featured loans, but notice they always got unsecured at the top, don't they? So this is the one you want to choose right here. So I'm glad you showed that. And when you click on that, that'll get you to this screen right here. You got to navigate through this. They're not going to just offer this to you when you go to the bank. Some of those bank people that y'all talk to, when you walk in, they don't even know this information. They're not trained to know this. So you can't go into the bank talking to the teller or the people that's in there. Most of the time, they got to get a business person for you that'll come to that bank or that location, or you got to call and set an appointment so that you can talk to the right person. So
That's
here you go.
the account in the middle of the diagram you showed, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. You speaking of the diagram I had with the
Where
federal
you
reserve
had your
notes?
mortgage, the car payment coming out, cash coming in, the flow chart.
Mm-hmm.
That will be the account in the middle,
Exactly.
right there, money pool.
Correct. That'll be your money pool, because you got that savings account, the business savings open. This is your money pool. And then eventually that savings account is going to be converted to a line of credit, which we say today we're speaking explicitly that you all should be paying every single bill, everything with a secured card. And if all else you don't have the secured card, you should be using your savings account and post office money orders. That's really it. If you're using
That's
the
it.
debit card and you're using a checking account all the time, you are not able to claim the way you're thinking, because the bank is doing it. You can't use it all the time. You can't use the debit card for everything. You go to McDonald's, you go to Burger King, you go to the mall, you use your debit card 3 times, right? So you got to get to the point where you're using your secured credit card 3 times. Use a secured credit card at the fast food spot. Go to the gas station. Use a secured credit card. Any thoughts on this? So y'all open mic right now? Open comments, questions, and shares at this point.
You gotta get it right. That's some hard stuff to do. You know, we've been trained doing it the way we been doing it for so long.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
practice.
Wallace, if you're not in the right standing, and according to the ABB and the Schedule C, but if you ain't in the right standing, you won't be able to claim that. Am I understanding you correctly?
Well, you can try. I guarantee they're gonna challenge you more.
Right.
That's what I've been seeing. People have been getting challenged more. It's like they say, if you got a revocable trust, the IRS already told us. Let me go to that screen to show you how the IRS said that you are a business. There's no way you're on a personal, you know, claiming to be doing all this business. It just doesn't add up. A revocable trust is an employer identification number. It says employer. So that means a business. A person who employs people is a business. That's what we're supposed to be saying. Is this hard and difficult? No, it's not. It's our mindset. Because we've been sold and told how to do business our whole life with the corporation side. This is doing business. Everything that y'all doing right now is business. You're just using the wrong accounts.
And cutting out the middleman.
You see right here. It's the IRS says this. I'm not saying anything that the IRS isn't saying. Tax information for businesses. What am I using? Let me give y'all my structure. So make sure everybody be thorough and explain what I'm doing. Business structure. Here we go. Business structures. These are your only options. Everybody jumps right into the what? LLCs. But I'm telling you, you haven't even mastered the sole proprietorship yet, which is yourself. You got to master your sole prop, which is your social security card. Once you get that account open with the social, then you can go into all these other types of businesses that they tell you about. But most of the time, most of us don't even have the sole prop. And I'm not knocking and saying that you've been doing business for years and you don't understand. What I'm saying is yourself, you are more important than the business that you are doing business for. You are the main business. So when I click on sole proprietorship, they clearly tell you what makes you a sole proprietorship on the IRS. What do they say? The forms you may need to file. It says you may need to file. So you do your income tax. We explained this before multiple times. You'll be doing a 1040, which it shows the individual side, but this converts you from the individual to Schedule C, which is the sole prop. Schedule C 1040 or 1040 SR, profit or loss from business. All right, so that's where we get the Schedule C when people say, I have to have the Schedule C. Yes, you have to have the Schedule C because it says sole proprietorship. It's not that it's something new or something that is, a mystery. It's at the top.
It said right there at the top of that screen.
There you go, right there.
It's right there. This is not no magic trick or nothing. This came straight from them.
I know, man. This is crazy. I mean, you got millions of people doing something. It almost seems right. But I can prove to y'all it's millions of people that are wrong. I'll
And a
explain to you.
professional will tell you this is the worst business to open.
That's right.
They first words, you know you're going to be responsible for all the taxes, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could give an example though, while it's like the benefits of it, like, okay, what I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, filing your taxes correctly actually refunds you the funds that you issued out. If you get a return for the funds that you issued out. Am I correct thinking that if you file your taxes correctly, you will get a refund if you file them properly according to the sole proprietor? Am I
Well, well,
understanding
you,
that?
well, the first thing you get is something called a write-off. So that's what we
Okay.
skip a lot of the times. People will have to write off what it is that you're paying. So I always say, write off all your bills, expenses, and debts down here on the part
Hmm.
5.
Hmm.
So you got to prove to me what you're paying before you get a refund.
Hmm.
Because people just grabbing what they'll just say, well, I just need the refund and I'm gonna pay my bills. But what if you haven't paid your bills and you can't prove to get the refund to even pay the bills, right? So these are your 1099Bs right here. People always ask, where's the 1099B go? This is where it goes right here. Each 1099B or each bill, whatever the biller, whichever one, right? These are your expenses. So I try to jump to the Schedule C because I know those 1099s, the way people explain it, they bog you all down. They make you think that's all you have to do, and you're gonna get a check back. It's not that simple. You gotta prove you're doing business out here. Now you're gonna have some people, they're gonna slip through the crack. They're gonna say, well, I got my check, but you're gonna see 200 people that didn't get no check. And that one person, you're never gonna know what they really did to get the check. They may be doing some back office stuff, turning in some affidavit. They may know somebody working at the IRS. Some of these people I learned too, they're enrolled agents. So that's why they get access to those checks because they went and paid for that PTIN or all that extra stuff so they can push it through.
Let me comment on this page you got right here, Wallace. I remember when I first met you and you was teaching about this. Right up there, it say Form 1040. They got everybody filling out a 1040. If you fill out the 1040 by yourself, I think when you pull up that form, it says individuals, a few other things on there. Those are the highest tax people in America. So to
Right.
save yourself, you have to save your soul. They kind of gave you a knockoff on the words SOLE, soul, compared to your SOUL, soul.
Mm-hmm.
With the
Mm-hmm.
Schedule C, profit
That's
or
right.
loss. That's both of them. What you lost and what you individual don't get that.
That's
That's
right.
only from a business.
Mm.
That's why you entitled to a refund or a check. So if you getting a check, like you say, you slipped through the cracks, and they might be coming back to get their money because they made a mistake. But if you a business, they're not doing that because this is what it's for, profit or loss.
And you
Now
can
you can
prove it.
write off stuff.
Exactly. And you can prove it because you all you got to do is show your Schedule C. But if you can't show the Schedule C, how do you prove what you're talking about? That's any of us. You know what I mean? How do you prove it?
So what y'all saying, what I heard Bass say, if you don't add your Schedule C to your 1040, then you fall under the category of a taxpayer
Correct.
versus a sole proprietor.
Hmm. Exactly what
Tax,
Barry was saying.
You
interesting.
you activating your business now.
Yes, sir.
You
Yeah,
can
this is
almost say it's your birthright.
yeah, it's not complicated. It's just you can't get help with this. You can't go to the tax people at H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or even the people who got those PTINs, those enrolled agents, because that's what they are. They're an enrolled agent. They already told you who they are. Come on, y'all. Nobody said go grab a PTIN and get those 1099Bs to go through, but that's what people are teaching. So I want to make sure y'all see the real way, which is true, but it's the same thing. You got to put in the work. So it's not just going to come to you. They want to see the secure line of credit. And even if you get the check back, if I would have did it, I messed up one time. I should have put the entire check. I'm going to do it from now on. I'm never going to deviate or sway from it. I don't care how much money it is. It's instantly going into a secured credit card. or a secured checking account. They got those as well too, which I'll explain. Some of y'all may have the credit unions like Navy Federal or other credit unions. They do that as well. They have the secured checking accounts where you can whatever money inside that account or that checking account is secured. So you can't make it up. It's coming straight off of the Bank of America website. Build and strengthen your what? Credit while growing your business.
I think on the IRS too, like when you look at your transcripts, they say they issue you credits or whatever, and then they will send you a check. I don't think they really say nothing about cash, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean,
And all the billionaires don't have a lot of cash. Nobody
yes.
that's rich and wealthy has a lot of cash. Cash is a taxable event. They either have assets or gold, bonds, stuff like that.
Real estate,
Yeah,
business.
real estate,
That's
business,
mainly what they have. They
stocks,
mostly have real estate and businesses, you
the
know.
stocks, options, and shit.
Yeah, exactly. But that gets to where they put the rest of the money at. That's like after you've done all your bills, all your expenses, and you have money left over, then you go into those options like stock options and crypto, if people get into that, or real estate, anything you can think of. You should not have no money sitting inside your bank. It needs to be $0, you all. I know it sounds counterintuitive and counterproductive to us because we've been told to go get the bag. That's what they teach you. Go get the bag. You broke. Well, guess
And they
what?
show you a video of a person with a whole bunch of Federal Reserve notes and debt,
Mhm.
tax liability. It show you that they rich. I'm like, oh man, they setting you up.
Every rapper you've ever met is already set up, right?
Floyd Mayweather. Oh,
Floyd, there you go. See, you can keep going down the line. Let's just go and use examples of who got messed up. You know, everybody you could think of that you've seen on TV, they got messed up. Lauryn Hill, remember she was the best artist out here in the whole world? Who came after her? The IRS.
cash. You know what they probably did more than anything? They probably left the money in the bank.
That's
Just a
exactly.
just a regular bank account. They left $100 million in a regular bank account.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. You're probably right. Just stacking the cash up in the bank. Gosh, boy, that's what they teach you. They tell you just put the money in the bank. But once y'all go past, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this and let you all finish this last Q&A. Once you go past 250,000, y'all, it's a wrap. The bank can take anything and freeze anything you got. Once you go over 250K.
FDIC, what is called FDIC insured 250. Yep. All right, Wallace.
I'm reading what the law says, my friend. I'm right because I want to not lose my money. Right? So let's say you get $1 million. Are you gonna put the whole $1 million in the bank, y'all?
If they let you put it in a secure credit account.
Or you got a business?
Yeah, yeah,
But even still, they say you still only insured up to 250K. So you're gonna need about 5 bank accounts. But how much is
yeah,
that? 250 times? No, you're gonna need four. You're gonna need four business accounts.
yeah. You're right. Right.
And I say these are our strategies. Once you get to level 3 banking, when that money starts coming in, y'all, they say more money, more problems. That's one thing I agree with P. Diddy. He's right. More money, more problems. Because if you can't prove what you're doing with that money, look, these people coming. They take up to 5 years to investigate. It takes them 5 years. Some people say, well, I got the treasury checks back. Well, have you had the treasury checks over 5 years coming back? Or you just got it back 2 years ago? We got examples. We seen people get a 700K check, came in the mail. Treasury sent it. You know, what did he do when he got the $700,000? Well, anybody want to know what he did? Take a wild guess what he did with the $700,000 Treasury check.
He
Went to the
bought an
bank.
Escalade.
He went to the bank.
Man, boy, I tell you. It's so exciting though, right? But it's a trap. Well, the Treasury sent it. It has to be right. Yeah, the Treasury sent it. It is right. But is the bank is the bank right? Do you have to go to the bank?
No.
Anybody want to shoot at this? We want to pick y'all brain today. We're trying to reverse the effect.
All right, so I'm hearing y'all, and I'm trying to unlearn and relearn. So if I got a $700,000 check from the Treasury, I would have did the same thing. So my question is, how do I cash this check? Then I only put it
Uh,
in secured credit, correct? Or how would I cash that check properly?
you have to move those funds into multiple accounts.
Oh, because the two fit. Okay, I got you. Now it's spread because you just gave the $1 million example up to 250. Okay, I got
You
it.
see?
So that would be three account. Okay, I got it now. But then
Mhm.
how do I prevent them? But if I ain't set up properly, I'm still exposed, correct?
That's right. That's the point. That's why
Right.
we have the
Don't.
revocable trust, and the sole
Got
proprietor.
okay. I got it.
Right. You wanted to go in them business accounts, like an investment vehicle accounts. They got different accounts too, like a insurance account, you know, IRA, Roth. That's just examples.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, those are other ways you can do it. Some people use the Charles Schwab and the. I don't trust Fidelity. They said people been losing their money with Fidelity. I'm not knocking them. I'm not. Just don't quote
I
me.
I haven't lost any money with Fidelity. They haven't done anything wrong. I
Okay.
got Charles Schwab too. They haven't done anything wrong. I read the instructions over and over and follow the process. I kind of haven't had any real blowback.
Well, I ask you this question: when you open up those accounts, whether they sole prop, was it a business? Well, how did it open for?
They were trust accounts. When I started opening up uh those Fidelity accounts, they were trust accounts,
Got you. So you just use the trust
non-profit
EIN.
accounts.
Okay, so you just use the trust EIN. You didn't use the social, right?
Correct.
Got you. Yep, that'll go through.
Because you could do that over the internet, over your phone, instead of going through the bank. The bank might want a lot of this, a lot of that. Over the internet, Charles Schwab, they're gonna ask you what kind of account is this, investment account, trust account, or blah 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 blah, and
Hmm.
it'll happen right then and there, instantly. Then you could attach your personal account to that one until you get set up a different way.
That's correct. So you want to be able to maneuver your funds around. You don't want your funds to be frozen. You don't want to be trying to grab Federal Reserve notes. If anything, you want to convert everything you have. That's what we're doing. We're converting ourselves. It sounds like it's a mystery, but it's not. It's basics because I had to do this. I've been practicing this for years, and I'm like at the point where I understand exactly how it works because I would have messed up too if I got $1 million check because I tried to do that where the Treasury was going to give me $1 million check. But what happened was I'm glad I didn't do that because I wasn't prepared with the multiple accounts in order to make that happen. Now, if I do the routing and account like Baz just said, with like Fidelity or Charles Schwab, then I can get over, like we said, the example, the 600,000 or the over the 250,000, right?
Yeah, because I think them like investment account, because they got so many of them.
Exactly.
And that could be, I don't know, this would be good for you to give me your opinion, but you get the million and you got a trust account, a revocable trust account with Fidelity. I would assume that's a good place to put the million. What you think?
But
Or
like I say, if you got to be careful because you said specifically you have a trust Fidelity account. We got some people that just go grab the Fidelity account in a social, and they'll just
no,
deposit thinking it was safe, right?
I'm saying no. I'm saying this is your your revocable living trust that you got on the county record, EIN, that you open up that Fidelity account with. So now, if you got a check with over 250,000, I would put it in that account. I'm asking you, what you
Yeah,
think about?
yeah. No, I agree with you. I just was saying just to kind of make it clear to people who listening, they may still make a mistake on Fidelity and not put it in a trust EIN account, right? Like you're
Correct.
saying.
Correct.
Because they're like, hey, he said put it in the Fidelity. I did that. And it's like, okay, well,
Right.
which account did you use? That's why we said at the bank, you got to be very specific. You got to use a sole proprietor, or you have to use like you just mentioned, a trust account. I don't know where you can see those types of accounts right here. Let me see if it
I
pops
think
up.
then it's when you say open account, then those squares will pop up. And I mean, it's a lot of.
Yeah, I don't see where it just says open the account, but I see right here it has accounts, account positions, and stuff like that. But you got to log in, so they get you. They want you to go ahead and log in, and so that's why I say you guys got to be very diligent and studying this. Don't just jump
There you
into it.
go, open account. See
Where?
it? Oh,
Oh,
right
right
there.
here. There we go. Open an account.
Now see
What you're
brokerage
talking about?
account, IRA, scroll down, cash management, health savings. It's
Oh, but
so
you see,
many.
this the first thing people would do though. They would go right to this one. This is the main
Uh,
one most people know about retirement and IRA account.
yeah, you got to scroll down quite a way before you see it. They don't let it hit view accounts. Yeah.
Where you
Did you
see?
see that? Go
Oh, see.
right there. Look, that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. They not gonna let it be right there in your face. Now you're gonna scroll down and it's gonna be on this page somewhere. Look how far you gotta scroll.
Mhm.
Hold
Again,
on, go back up a little bit. Did we pass it? Right
control
there.
your assets right
Now,
here. It's right there. It says it.
uh,
Boom. Trust account. Control your assets. Build. So this is the billionaire uh option right here. You're saying you were talking about earlier. Billionaires do not have cash. Multimillionaires, decamillionaires, they don't have cash.
but they got another account up there called the cash management account, where you pay out from, which would be like how you said set it up with the secure credit account. But notice they said cash management account. You need a secure credit account because credit is the key. We want to convert all cash to credit, like you say,
Look at
or
this.
asset.
Look what they still ask you for. They want to still see your social or tax identification number. So you still got to be careful with the trust because some of us still may use the social because it says or taxpayer identification number. So when you use this one, then you're over the 250K amount. You're able to go over that threshold. If you still use the social, they're gonna cap you. They're gonna still. Now I don't know. Don't quote me on it. They may say, well, no, you can put more in the social security. But like I say, this is a trust account.
So I got a question. My question would be, so if the check from the treasury come in it should come in the name of the trust, or if it doesn't come in the name of
It come in
sole
the
pro-
name of the tax
the
person.
taxpayer. Okay.
Yes. So it would come in me and my wife name. I
Mm-hmm.
had a trust before I met Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
It goes into that trust account. And then from that trust account, I disperse it to the sole prop account to pay the bills.
Oh, because the sole pro the trust owns the. Okay, I
Yeah, the
got it.
trust
I
own
got
everything I
I
own.
I got it. I got it, man.
I work for them.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. I work for the trust. You work for your employer. Remember we had that call? We talked about how y'all need to be working for your employer. Who's your employer?
Trust.
That's right. The EIN, the business that you created. You need to be working for that business. You got to work for the EIN.
That's why we don't have no money. We gave it all to the trust.
There you go.
We made zero.
I'm zero. I don't have no money. You can even say you broke. Just go ahead and say you broke, because that's the thing they try to clown you on in the world. You broke. You ain't got no money. Okay, cool. I ain't got no money.
Right.
You're right. I'm broke.
I would say you for me, I only speak for myself. This is a biblical principle. You be renewed by the transformer of your mind. 'Cause
Hmm.
Right.
That's
I've been
right.
taught, man. Yeah,
That's right.
be
Yeah. What does it say? Yeah. Be
be
renewed.
renewed by the transforming of your mind. Unlearn,
Right.
relearn all day.
Yeah. Do not conform to the ways of this world.
Yes, sir.
What is this called? The world banking system.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying? The world. They left the last part out for y'all in the Bible. They was really saying the world banking system.
you
Be
preaching,
in the world, but not
but
of
not
the world.
of. Whoa,
There you
wow,
go. Yeah.
yeah,
And
wow.
it's Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wallace be preaching, man.
For
I know he have
sure.
his biblical principles on
Oh, sad.
Saturday,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
for
get
sure.
down both days.
Hmm. Well, this is your mechanic. This is your practical, actual, real life things you can do. And then you got your spiritual things that you can't see. These are the physical things you can see, because you now can see your trust account. People ask, well, what are you talking about? How do I open a trust account? Here you go. Don't say that you can't open one.
He just showed you how to do it, and you can do it on your phone.
Mhm. I'm not telling you just do it because you're looking at it now like I did it. But do you know what you're doing? Because they're gonna ask you for the employment information right here. So you gotta fill these things. You gotta practice this stuff, y'all. Just you print out a practice form or something. Try to figure out before you click submit what you're doing. But I think that's it for this week. I don't want to hold y'all too much longer. I'm glad you spoke on that over 250K, because you got some people trying to get $1 million checks back and over 200,000 and stuff like that, because the bank is just going to flag it. That's all they do. Especially if you never had that much money before and all of a sudden you got like $100,000 popping up in a
And you
personal bank account.
and you an individual.
There you go. And it's in a personal account. It's okay. But that's why we gotta just simply reason this and study this together at one time so we can all see it and where it all is coming from. So that's all I have this week. Just wanted to show you all as a recap of what we spoke on. We talked about everything that deals with secured credit and how this is you actually having your money straight now. So your money is straight. You're on the straight path. And the question that we asked today, did you get your money straight? So next week I'm gonna go into something else, assuming that you all got your money straight and you're doing this practice. Even if you work out this week, when you pay for stuff with a money order, or you pay for stuff with a secured credit card, or you grab a secured credit card, I don't even care if you get a personal secured credit card right now. It's better than just paying that debit. I'm telling you. It's way better. Don't go get other companies like Self Lender and all these other places that we try to use to build our credit and stuff. Just use yourself. So that's all I have. Anybody have any last thoughts, comments, questions, or shares before we close this week? I think we went over almost everything we needed to go through, and then we'll go into a new segments or new topics next week.
I just want to take this time out for me, Wallace, to continue to give you your flowers every time you show up, the consistency, bro, and just everything you do. Um, I'm on this path. I understand it's steps, stages, and degrees. You definitely giving us tailor-made. Start with your personal. I'm on it. I will be showing results as they come in my life, attending class to encourage or inspire someone else. But man, just keep doing what you're doing, man. I pray for you daily, and I'm grateful.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Any type of support that you all give, or any prayers or anything that we all need to definitely talk about this as much as possible with people that are like-minded, that actually want to talk about this or actually like this information. Now, it's going to be difficult to talk to people that don't like it. They're not like-minded, so they're not going to want to do this. So we do it for ourselves first, and then we see the results, and then eventually people will come on. So I
And
think you.
shout out to Bass too. I want to shout out to Bass. Low
Yes,
key,
sir.
he that prodigy that shines bright like a diamond. So,
Hey,
oh,
I
shout
got
out,
him
man.
from Wallace. I've been messing with him for a couple years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He
I hear you.
solid. He's solid.
Oh
Yes,
man,
sir.
I appreciate all of y'all. I'm trying to stay solid as much as I can. I'm getting better every day. I still got to work on some stuff myself. So I thank y'all. Appreciate everything. And we're gonna close out here. Didn't want to hold y'all over the time this week. And we'll come out next week. There is no more ticketed events. We coming straight in the same room next week. All right.